Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. Today I wanted to encourage you guys to just basically get off your ass and stop acting like you're not ready to make music. Stop acting like you don't have enough time. Stop acting like you're too old. Stop acting like you don't know enough music theory. Stop acting like you don't have enough equipment. All that stuff is just bullshit. If you're an artist, you're an artist, you're an artist, right? That's the very first thing. At the very core of you, you are a creation of art anyway. So you're born ready to be creative, all right? Sure, some people are going to have more stuff than you. You're going to have less stuff, whatever. There's always going to be some sort of whatever. Sure, you are going to have maybe less skills than someone else. But do you really think that skills are what makes the difference between something that is good and connects with someone and something that's not? I suppose on some small level that might be true. But at the end of the day, it really comes back to you just expressing yourself with what you have, with what you know. I mean, if you need a certain tool that's going to give you that specific sound that you're looking for, great, go and do it, figure out how to do that. But my point is, everyone's pretending like they're not good enough. And that's a huge, huge disservice to yourself. All right. Basically, you're as ready as you choose to be. Most of my favorite bands are artists that had no idea how to play their instruments, and they just decided to put a band together. Hey, go buy a bass. Hey, you go buy a keyboard. My dad gave me this guitar. That's actually how I started, right? I started making music. I'll give you the basic story, right? I started making music when I met a friend of mine. I was in 10th grade. I lived in Lake Arrowhead, California. And we were in Spanish class. And I met this guy, Glenn. And I had only lived there for about a year. I didn't really have any friends. And he didn't have a partner. I didn't have a partner. We were on opposite sides of the classroom. And we both raised our hand. And I ended up doing some project with him and ended up like just hanging out with him because I thought he was a pretty cool person. And we would beatbox like quietly during Spanish class. So that was the extent of our music knowledge, right? Fast forward about 2 years later, and we were selling out the Roxy and, other clubs in Hollywood and stuff like that. So basically what I'm saying is, why do you keep thinking that you need to know tons more stuff, right? And it wasn't like in those 2 years I became a virtuoso on my instrument. I'll show you the first guitar part that I ever made. I didn't even know how to play chords. My dad gave me a guitar. He gave me a chord book, and I just got incredibly bored by it, and I threw it away, and really never went back to it. Over, I guess, the last, 30 years or whatever, I have gone back and checked out some chords, but still, I couldn't tell you one chord for another. I've always played by ear, right? So I only knew how to play 2-string chords. So one on one note, and then the next note, you are like 2 over. Like that. That's the first time I ever played live. That's what I did. And now I'm trying to think like, okay, how fast did we progress? Might have been about 3 years, because we were still in high school and we didn't really start selling places out till I was like 19. So it was like I was 16 at the time or whatever. But anyway, after learning my instrument for about 2 months, and being able to play this was the first thing I played, I think. And then repeated that, and then did certain chords, the exact same structures. So that's all I knew when I played my very first show. And I probably spent, the next year just, I was doing cover songs, but I was just doing it, trying to listen for the chords and stuff like that. So everything I did was that sort of thing, right? This is not a guitar lesson because I'm not a great guitar player, even though I was in bands and I played guitar, and the bands ended up being pretty popular actually. But it really came down to expressing ideas with what I knew, And I never really got great at guitar. But after that very first show, I was backstage, and another guy who wasn't in a band but played guitar, he suggested that I put my pinky below these two strings to make a 3-string chord. So that was my next progression. So I just started, and someone just gave me tips, you know. So I mean, that's my point, is you don't need to know that much to get started. You know, if you're playing keyboards, just pick out the notes, just play notes and listen. You know, try to see if you can play along with the melody, and don't try to get all the complicated stuff. Try to, like, for me, the first thing that I did was try to figure out like what the bass was playing, because that was for the most part, they were only playing one note at a time. So if I could follow what the bass was doing, I could kind of learn how to play a song, right? So that led me to be able to get much more creative with very little knowledge, you know. And I'm kind of glad that I never took music lessons, because every time I pick up an instrument, it's a discovery. It's magical to me. I don't quite understand it. I approach things in a childlike, sort of playful way. So I might discover a chord that is super obvious to a musician, but for me, it's the very first time I've discovered it. So because I feel that magic, I'm able to incorporate that in a much more interesting way, I think. Whereas if you already know all the chords, you're never going to be able to impress yourself, right? I haven't really played guitar in many years. You know, I'm actually working on an album where I do play guitar, but most of you guys know me, you know, for electronic music. But I kind of just want to give you like my start. This is where I started, and everything I did was just learning by ear, you know, and picking up little things as I went, you know. And for years, the equipment I had was my guitar, an amp, a Boss ME5. I've got it down there, but I can't really show it to you. I bought another one, but yeah, just some basic effects, you know, for distortion and a couple delay sort of things and whatever. And that was good for me, you know. So I think, especially in this day and age of electronic music where everything's super over the top, we're kind of forgetting the core of songs really comes down to emotion more than like technique and all this sort of stuff. You can play two notes in a certain way, in a certain speed, and with a certain sound, and create an emotion. And if you're able to do that, if you're able to tune into that, then you can produce great music. And I absolutely believe that anyone who wants to probably has a pretty good album in their head that they can get out. It might take a couple years to do it, but you can get started right now. There's nothing stopping you, you know, and, you know, you can be as creative as you choose to be, you know. Most artists just decide, I'm going to be an artist. Like, that's what I'm going to be, and I'm going to act like an artist, and I'm going to feel like an artist, and the art will come, you know, and I truly believe that. I'm not saying don't practice your craft. I'm just saying that your craft is only a small part of the whole. In fact, I always thought the best bands, my favorite bands, were ones that didn't know their instruments incredibly well, and, you know, singers who weren't necessarily proper singers or whatever, because of the fact that they looked at music in a different way, and it took you in a different avenue, you know, where all the structured, trained artists went in this direction. The DIY artists went in this direction, and there's no right or wrong. I'm just saying that you can do whatever it is that you want to do, and there's no rules. That's the greatest thing about music and art. There's no rules. You get to make the rules. You know, you get to decide how complex your music is. You can be, you know, you can make music like the Ramones or something, you know, really simple, straightforward music, or you can get complicated like some progressive rock band, or, you know, you can, with electronic music, you can keep it as stripped down as you want, or you can build it up to be as complicated as you would like. And finding the balance in that is going to help you as you make your way forward. But, you know, from there, I'm getting some comments. Dave, how you doing, buddy? Let's see. Oh, you know what? I can't find. Hold tight just a sec. I'm going to find my phone real quick. That way I can look up what is going on. Actually, you know what? No, I can do it right here. So hang tight. Just got to make sure I don't turn on the volume. I'll keep the volume off. And Dave said software and UGG. I don't really get exactly what you mean, but hello to you. And if you've got a question in there, let me know. With one word comments, I'm not really able to distinguish what you are looking for, because we really haven't even talked about software. You know what I mean? I think software is great. I use it all the time, but you don't need a ton of stuff. You never do, and you never have. You know, you need some of the basics. You know, if you've got a computer, you got a piece of software that you can record with. If you have some sort of a microphone, and if you have some sort of sound card that you can record professionally, you're good. You know, just get started. You know what I mean? It used to be a lot harder when I started. You know, we had to buy, you know, like a Tascam 4-track and learn how to use that and plug it in. And I guess for some people that might be easier than using software. But you had to buy more equipment and it was more expensive. And, you know, the price of entry is super low. So you can DIY yourself anywhere, you know. You can play notes, you can sample stuff. You've got tons of different presets and libraries and sounds available to you, and so much stuff available for free. So why are you acting like you're not ready? Why are you acting like everything you need isn't there, right? Is there any good sound card I recommend? I don't know. I really like Apogee's stuff, but they're a bit more expensive. But even like Native Instruments makes DJ sound cards, but you can totally use those to record audio. All you really need is one stereo input and just record one instrument at a time. Just have something with 2 inputs, 2 outputs, and maybe a microphone input as well, you know, if you're going to use your vocals. And that's pretty much it. You know, you could be, you could get started for like $100, $200, you know, so yeah, I mean, don't try to tell yourself and other people that the reason you're not making music is because you've got so much shit to learn. You don't. You got nothing to learn. You get to make up. Someone made up music. Someone made up instruments. Someone made the rules that we follow. And look, many people discovered the quote unquote right or wrong way to do things. And certain things sound more pleasing to the ear than other things, but you'll figure that out just by doing it, you know? Everyone's so concerned and so worried. You know, if you want to progress faster, then surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do. You know, surround yourself. And if you don't know people like physically who are doing what you want to do, then find a virtual friend, find someone online, you know, hire a coach or get yourself in a group. I typically don't recommend you join free groups for the most part, mainly because you're surrounding yourself with people who are interested, but they're not taking action, or most of the time they're not like investing in themselves. Even someone that's investing $5 a month or something like that to be part of a community, it filters out all the people who are not going to really do any work. You want to surround yourself with people who are getting stuff done. If you can find a free group where people are doing that, I recommend that. But just be warned that the habits of most of those people are not going to necessarily be very productive, right? So, I mean, if you think you're not creative, I mean, you really got to take a better look at yourself. Everything is creativity, everything. And everything is an influence and everything is a filter. And this isn't just about music necessarily, even though that's what I train and what I do. This could be a book that's in you that needs to be written. This could be writing a blog post for all I care. This could be speaking about something. This could be, you know, like doing a YouTube video or, you know, live video like this. It doesn't matter really, but we are creative people and we're meant to get these ideas out. So if you're trapping yourself in a box and you're telling yourself that your boss won't let you be creative, well, your boss isn't really the boss of you. He's only the boss of the money you're making right now, and you can change that at any time. You need to revolve your life around the decisions that you truly want to make. And if you feel like you don't have time to do this stuff, then you need to evaluate your life. Most people, for the most part, even with a full-time job, with family and everything, you can put an hour a day into your art, your passion, your creativity, right? To build that out, to make a regular practice. You know, we always have time to cook food. We always have time to use the bathroom if we need to. We always have time to do all these essential things, but we pretend that we don't have time to do the things that are important to us. So stop acting like you're not ready. You're ready. Just get started. Pick out one freaking note on a guitar or a keyboard and play it. and then change the note. My doorbell's ringing, so I got to go, guys. Take care. I hope you got the lesson. All right?